Hey everyone, what's up? Dr. Shred here. Welcome back to my Lose Your Rind Series. We're in the city of Omelos, the beautiful island of Crete, Greece, and today we're going to talk about getting you on the proper amount of protein and fat, how to pick foods to get you lean, fit, and help you lose weight. So if you remember from my last video on calories, we talked about all the food that you're going to eat is made up of three things: protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how much protein I want you to eat and how much fat I want you to eat in each food item. And I'm going to show you a very easy way to look at nutritional labels, to read them, and you can tell right away if it's a Dr. Shred approved item. So in general, to build muscle, we need to increase our protein intake, and to lose weight, we want to drop our fat intake. Remember, fat has a lot of calories. It has more than twice the amount of calories of carbs and protein. So exactly how much should you be eating as far as protein, carbs, and fat in the food items that you select? To be a Dr. Shred approved food item, I want you to aim for having more than 40% of the calories come from protein and less than 10% of the calories coming from fat. In that way, we're going to maximize our protein intake to build muscle and decrease our fat intake to lose weight. Okay, so now let me explain in a super easy way how you can look at a nutritional label at the store and figure out if it's a Dr. Shred approved product. More than 40% protein, less than 10% fat. So how do you know when you're in the grocery store which food items to buy that are healthy? It's real simple. Look at the nutritional label. We're going to focus on three things only: the total number of calories, the total amount of protein, and the total amount of fat. To determine the amount of protein that you need, just take the calories and move the decimal 1 point to the left. So 280 becomes 28. 28 is the amount of grams of protein you need to have 40% of the calories coming from protein. Now to look at fat, move the decimal over 2 places. So 280 calories becomes 2.8. 2.8 grams is the amount of fat that you need to have 10% of the calories coming from fat. If you double that, it becomes 5.6. 5.6 grams of fat would be the amount of fat that would equal 20% of the calories coming from fat. It's really that simple. Now, it's hard to eat less than 10% of calories from fat. That's ideal, and we're going to look for those foods, and I'll show you a list that goes over that. 10 to 20% of calories coming from fat is reasonable. Try to avoid foods that are greater than 20% of calories coming from fat. So here's a list of foods that I've made that are greater than 40% protein and less than 10% fat. If you start at the top, fish is the most amazing food you can eat. Cod, tilapia, barramundi, tuna, they're all good. They're very high in protein, almost 100% protein, and very little fat and carbs. Fish should be a staple for what you eat in your diet if you want to increase your protein intake and minimize your fat intake. Next is whey protein powder. Protein powder is a great way to increase your protein intake. I drink a protein shake after each workout. It gives me a boost of about 40 grams of protein per beverage. Non-fat cheese is okay if you like it. High in protein, low in fat. Egg whites are great. They are a staple in my diet. Egg whites are very low in calories, and they're pretty much pure protein, so you can eat a lot of egg whites. I'll make a 4 or 5 egg white omelet, throw a lot of vegetables in it. It's very healthy. Put some salsa on it, and I've got a very high protein, low carb, low fat meal. The lean white meats like chicken, turkey, and pork tenderloin are also very good for you. They're high in protein, not as good as fish, but still good, and low in fat, and that will be also important to eat a lot of these types of products. Red meat is going to be something I want you to try to avoid. Steak, for example, and fatty ground beef is not going to be good for you. If you buy the ground beef, definitely get the one that's 90-10, so you can minimize the fat intake. Tofu is another good item. It's made of soybeans, high in protein. If you like tofu, you can use it lots of different ways. And then finally are the non-fat and 1% low-fat dairy items: Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and milk. They are a great source of protein. They're low in fat, and they should be incorporated into your diet quite a bit. For example, I usually eat about 2 Greek yogurt a day, usually 1 cottage cheese a day, and have at least 1 glass of 1% milk a day, which gives me a ton of protein. And finally, vegetables are great. These are a list of vegetables that are higher in protein. You're not going to get a lot of protein out of vegetables, but they work mostly as fillers. So use vegetables quite a bit in your diet. They will fill you up. They have low calories, and they have low fat. Things like lettuce, greens, bell peppers, onions, cucumbers, etc. should be used extensively. They're healthy, full of nutrients, and they won't give you a lot of calories. There are 3 vegetables I want you to avoid: potatoes, corn, and beans. These vegetables are very high in carbohydrates. They're high in calories, not high in protein, and they should be things that you should avoid. We'll give them the nah bra sign so that you don't use them in your diet. And of course, if your food doesn't taste good, you're not going to stick with this diet. So spices are free. Spices have essentially no calories. You should use them liberally to flavor your food so you enjoy what you eat. So let's go shopping. Let's look at a few items and see how they stack up. First, we'll look at Healthy Choice Grilled Chicken Marsala. You can see this has 180 calories. If we move the decimal over 1, it's 18 grams of protein we're looking for. This has 17. And the amount of fat would be 1.8 grams of fat. This has 3 grams, so it has a little bit less than 20% of calories coming from fat. This would be a good item to put in your list of things to eat. You could add it as an entree for dinner or lunch. It's easy to cook, tastes good, and it would be a Dr. Shred approved item. Next, we're going to look at Healthy Choice Grilled Chicken and Broccoli Alfredo. Has 190 calories. If we move the decimal 1 to the left, it's 19. That's 19 grams of protein we're looking for. This has 28 grams of protein, so very high in protein, something that you should consider eating. It does have a little bit of extra fat. 1.9 grams would be ideal. This has 5 grams of fat. So it's got about 25% of calories coming from fat. So a little bit higher in fat, but very high in protein. I think that's something you could add, particularly for the high protein content. Next is Healthy Choice Tomato Basil Chicken. 240 calories. We're looking for 24 grams of protein. This has 27, so it fits well. And then 10% of calories coming from fat would be 2.4 grams of fat. This has more than twice that, so it's about 25% of calories coming from fat. A little bit fattier food, but it could be something you could add as long as you pick from the main list I show you: the fish, the chicken, the ground turkey, and the lean pork, egg whites, and dairy for most of your food sources. That way you'll stick to the higher protein, lower fat items. You could use these frozen meals as supplements for lunch and dinner for something easy to eat. So in summary, you're going to be eating a lot of air-fried fish with vegetables, a lot of grilled chicken with vegetables, enchiladas made with ground turkey or pork, taco made with ground turkey, and you can still have hamburgers as long as you eat healthy hamburgers. You definitely don't want to eat hamburgers that have cheese on them, mayonnaise, bacon, and fried onion rings. Those will get a nah bra sign any day of the week. If you follow my advice and pick most of your foods from these Dr. Shred approved items, you're going to see significant gains. For example, if we go on a 1,200 calorie diet in an attempt to lose weight, you're going to get at least 120 grams of protein. That's a lot for someone who wants to build muscle. If you're on a much higher calorie intake, let's say 2,000 or 2,400, because you're not trying to lose weight, you're not going to be perfect with the Dr. Shred approved items because it's hard to eat everything from that list, but you'll get probably at least 150, 200 grams of protein per day. So there you have it. In this video, we talked about what foods are ideal to help you gain muscle and lose weight, foods that are Dr. Shred approved. I showed you a very easy way to look at a nutritional label just by looking at the calories that are there and figuring out how much protein, how much fat's in it, so you can decide if it fits that category or not. Oh, and one last thing. These things, fried foods, nah brah, none, period. Thanks for watching.
Yoda, he said no fried food.
Well, that's not gonna work. Dr. Shred, we give you a nah bra for that one.
That's funny, Yoda.